using evidence from more than 33 million marriages, that's a lot of marriages, and 67 million births in England and Wales from 1837 to 2022, we show there was never within this area any period of significant hypergamous marriage by women. I'm going to read that again. 33 million marriages were studied. Again, this is not a survey, this is a study. And 67 million births in England. I'm not really sure what the births have to do with the marriages, but they're looking at all this data. From 1837 to 2022, that's a vast amount of data. We show there was never within this era any period of significant hypergamous marriage by women. Now, before you go and burn your rational male book, Rollo isn't wrong. So when I take a look at this data and I click through over here, so here, I'll just throw it up on the screen. We'll kind of go through it together and we'll have some time for some call-ins today. I'm gonna do a little bit of a shorter show tonight, guys. So if you have questions, come in early because I probably won't be able to do the full 90 on this one. Where is the window? There it is. All right, well, I'll throw it up here. So this is an excerpt from the study. The study is, I think it's a Dutch study, if I'm not mistaken. And Hypergamy Revisited, Marriage in England, 1837. It's widely believed that women value social status in marital partners more than men, leading to female marital hypergamy. And if you're new to the channel, all that really means is that women tend to marry across and up on the socioeconomic scale. It's not always been up, it's across and up. There's a preference for, at least at a bare minimum, as good as she's at, but they prefer better. It's not often that they'll marry down. It happens, but not often. A recent paper in Norway, for example, and by the way, this is a February 2023 study. A recent paper on Norway, for example, reports significant female hypergamy, even today, as measured by parental status of men and women in partnerships. So apparently in Norway it happens, but not in England during the years they studied it. Using evidence from more than 33 million marriages, which I already quoted here, we show there's never been within this area any period of significant hypergamous marriage by women. The average status of women's fathers was always close to that of their husbands. Now, this is where it starts to get a little weird. And you have to, the devil's in the details, right? Like you have to pay attention to the wording, because right off the bat, they're basically saying women aren't hypergamous. There's no evidence of it in 33 million marriages within England and Wales. But the average status of women's fathers was always close to that of their husbands' fathers. This study is based on the parents of the married couples. Not the married couple, not the groom and the bride, but the parents. The average status of women's fathers was always close to that of their husbands' fathers. So they're not even looking at the family itself. They're actually looking at the fathers. Her father, his father. Consistent with this, there was no differential tendency in England of men and women to marry by social status. The evidence is of strong symmetry in marital behaviors between men and women throughout. There is also ancillary evidence that physical attraction cannot have been a very significant factor in marriages in any period, 1837 to 2121, based on the correlation observed in underlying social abilities. Does the study reveal that women aren't hypergamous as they summarized it? No. Again, I think it's misleading. Using evidence from more than 33 million marriages and 67 million births in England and Wales from 1837 to 2022, we show that there was never within area of any period of significant hypergamous marriage by women. Now, I thought this was interesting because I'm like, at face value, before you start looking at it, and then you read the fine print where it's not the bride and the groom, it's the bride's father and the groom's father compared. It's entirely plausible that the parents are at the same level, which is probably pretty common, like in 1837, because, you pretty much all did the same thing. You either worked in a factory, the revolution started to happen, the Industrial Revolution, the Communication Revolution, all this sort of stuff happened over the past 1837 to 2022 sort of thing. But you probably did just about the same thing. You probably lived in the town doing just about the same thing. You probably met in a church or a school doing just about the same thing, right? Today's a lot different. Now, I kind of went through the exercise of diving into people that I know personally. I thought the easiest way to do it was just go through my Facebook friends list. And I went through every single person I know that is either married or has been married. And I know both the couples personally. Like, I know who they are. I know what they do for a living. I've met them. I've broken bread with them, or I've had drinks with them, something, right? Like, I know them personally. I'm not one of those guys that's like, I have 5,000 Facebook friends because I'm popular. I don't give a shit, right? So I went through them all, and what I found was, based on my friends list, based on that experience, about 78% of women married up, not across, up for the most part. Some were close to across, but mostly up. There were a couple of scenarios. There was 2 scenarios, in fact, where the guy and the gal, the husband and the wife, are still married, have been married for over 20 years. And I know for a fact that they both started with nothing. And in one of the cases, she actually bailed him out and lent him a ton of money, maxed out her credit to give him money to get the business off the ground, which paid off for her, at the end of the day. Again, a lot of the people that I know are in the GTA or in North America, and they've either been married or they've been divorced, but I know them personally. And, like I said, more than 3/4, the women married up. So I think this summary saying that, what does it say here? There was never within this area any period of significant hypergamous marriage by women. Look at the data, and it's collected on the fathers of the groom and the bride. Anyway, so I don't think it's honest. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, I still see hypergamy. I think it exists. I think it's real. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.